All right, picture this, man. Two of the best lightweights in the world, one rematch years in the making, and the entire MMA community holding its breath, because what's about to happen isn't just a fight. It's a story that's been years in the making. It's the collision of history, skill, and raw human will. And from the moment they step into that cage, everything changes. Every punch, every takedown, every moment of hesitation could rewrite their legacies forever. And you're not just watching athletes fight, you're watching two men put everything on the line for redemption, for glory, for immortality in a sport that doesn't forgive mistakes. So buckle up, because this isn't just another fight breakdown. This is a journey into the heart of MMA, a story about dominance, evolution, pressure, and the kind of legacy that gets whispered about for decades. And by the end of this, you're going to feel like you were right there in that cage with them, living every moment, every struggle, every triumph, every failure, because this is what fighting at the highest level is really all about. And all starts with this one incredible, electrifying rematch. You know what's crazy about this matchup? It's not just another rematch. This thing has history, man. It goes all the way back to 2019 when a 22-year-old kid named Arman Tsarukyan walked into the octagon for his UFC debut against Islam Makhachev, who at that time was already being called the heir to Khabib's throne. Nobody wanted to fight Islam back then. People were ducking him left and right. And this kid, this fearless Armenian prospect, just said, "I'll do it." And what we saw that night wasn't some mismatch. It was a battle that showed us something real. You could feel it in that first scramble. Arman didn't fold. He pushed Islam. He made him work for every second. It was like watching a young lion trying to take the alpha's throat. And even though he lost that night, everybody who watched that fight knew, deep down, this kid's coming back. That fight planted a seed, and for years that seed's been growing into something dark, something hungry. Fast forward to now, Arman's not the same wide-eyed debutante anymore. He built from scar tissue and sweat, molded by losses, wins, and obsession. He's been calling for this rematch for years, and every time Islam's name came up, you could feel that tension. Not fake bad blood, not some promo-made rivalry, real competitive resentment, because for Arman, that fight never left his head. Imagine being 22, going toe-to-toe with one of the most dominant grapplers on the planet and coming just short. That kind of thing burns a hole in your soul, man. And on the other side, Islam knows it too. He remembers that kid who gave him one of his toughest fights early in his rise. That's the thing. They both know what happened in that cage. There's a respect there, sure, but underneath it, there's this electric undercurrent of unfinished business. Every interview is very mention. You can feel it bubbling. Arman saying, "He knows I'm different now." And Islam smiling that quiet Dagestani grin like, "Let's see." That's the energy going into this. It's history colliding with evolution, two paths crossing again. But this time, one man's defending everything he's built, while the other's coming to destroy the myth that stopped him once before. And when you talk about Islam Makhachev, man, you're talking about a different kind of presence. The kind of dominance that doesn't just come from physicality, it comes from a system, from a culture that's been breeding fighters in the mountains for generations. This guy doesn't fight with emotion, he fights with precision, with that cold mechanical control that just breaks people. You watch him in there, and it's like watching a machine dissect another human being in real time. No wasted movement, no panic, just efficiency. He's like water in there, man. He flows around you, and before you know it, you're drowning. The pressure he applies isn't just in the cage. It starts long before that. Guys talk about how they feel it during fight week, like they're already trapped in that Dagestani grip before the cage even closes. That's what makes him terrifying. And the crazy thing is, Islam doesn't even look angry when he's doing it. He's calm, he's breathing easy, his face doesn't change. He's built this aura of inevitability, like every opponent is just another name on the list, another man who's going to realize halfway through the fight that there's no way out. And that's what separates him. It's not just the skills, it's the control, the belief. You can see the influence of Khabib in him, the discipline, the purpose, but Islam's version is colder, more technical, more refined. He doesn't need to talk trash or hype himself up. He just goes out there, takes your best weapon, and turns it into your downfall. You try to strike with him, he times you. You try to wrestle with him, he smothers you. He's like trying to fight quicksand. And every time he wins, it's not just another victory, it's another message to the rest of the division. You can't figure this out. And the scary part is he keeps getting better. You look at his fight IQ, his transitions, the way he adapts mid-fight. It's unreal. This guy doesn't chase chaos. He manufactures it and then thrives inside it. And that's why this rematch feels different, because for Arman to beat Islam now, he's not just fighting a man. He's fighting a perfected system, an empire of control that's been built over years, waiting for anyone bold enough to challenge it. But that's the thing, man. While Islam was out there building his empire, Arman Tsarukyan was evolving in the shadows like some kind of mad scientist obsessed with one goal, getting back to that man who beat him. You can see it in everything he does, the way he trains, the way he fights, the way he talks. There's this coldness in him now, this discipline that wasn't there before. When he first fought Islam, he was just a kid running on raw talent and guts, trying to prove he belonged. Now he's a weapon. Every time he's stepped in the cage since that loss, you can see little pieces of that experience showing up. Tighter wrestling, sharper striking, the composure under fire. He's not wild anymore. He's deliberate, almost surgical. And what's wild is how much he's embraced the grind. You can tell he's been through hell. Those brutal fights, the close decisions, the injuries, all that turned him into something different. It's like he forged himself in failure. And that's dangerous, man, because fighters who come back from that kind of pain, they don't just fight for a paycheck or a belt. They fight for closure. Arman's style now is this perfect hybrid, the wrestling base that can scramble with anyone and the striking that's built to punish hesitation. He doesn't gas out, he doesn't break, he just keeps coming round after round. You watch his rec, ENT fights, and you realize he's developed that same suffocating pressure Dagestani fighters are known for, but he's using it against them now. That's poetic, right? The student taking the system that beat him and bending it to his own will. You can feel it in his demeanor too. No fake bravado, no noise, just that cold, burning stare of a man who's done waiting. He's been chasing this rematch for years, not out of hate, but out of obsession. Because for him, this isn't just another fight. It's proof that evolution is real, that he wasn't just another name in Islam's rise. He was the one meant to come back and test the foundation. And that's what makes this fight so fascinating. It's not the same kid walking back into the cage. It's the ghost of that night, returning as a completely new animal, ready to prove that even monsters can be beaten. And that's where it gets really interesting, because this matchup isn't just about who's tougher or who wants it more. It's about styles, man. And styles make fights. You can't script this one. It's too perfect. You've got Islam, the master of control, this human blanket who smothers chaos before it even starts, against Arman, this explosive, high-paced cardio machine who thrives inside that chaos. It's like watching pressure versus pressure, patience versus speed, and both guys are mirrors of each other in a weird way. Islam wants to slow you down, drown you in his rhythm, make you question every breath you take. Arman wants to break that rhythm, explode through the gaps, and force Islam to scramble, something we almost never see. The beauty of this fight is in those tiny moments, those half seconds where both styles collide. You can picture it: Islam's shooting for a takedown, Arman's defending, spinning, turning it into a scramble, the kind of scramble that makes even the commentators lose their minds. And that's the chess match, right? Islam doesn't make mistakes, he builds traps. Arman, on the other hand, is chaos disguised as composure. He'll bait you into thinking he's trapped, and then boom, he's out. He's swinging, he's pressuring. The striking exchanges are going to tell a story too, because Islam's not that same one-dimensional grappler anymore. His stand-up has gotten clean, confident, precise. But Arman, he's got that piston jab, that snappy hook, the kind of striking that's built to create chaos and escape control. And cardio, oh man, that's going to be the hidden weapon. Both guys can go 5 rounds, but it's going to come down to who controls the tempo. Because if Arman can turn it into a storm, make Islam react instead of dictate, we might see the champion forced into deep waters we've never seen him in before. But if Islam does what he always does, drags him down, smothers the fire, makes it his kind of fight, it's going to be another clinic in dominance. That's the magic of this matchup, man. 2 fighters at the peak of their evolution, 2 completely different philosophies colliding in the AMA cage. It's not just a fight. It's a test to see which truth holds up when everything else starts to break down. And at the heart of all this, what really makes this fight pulse with electricity is the fact that legacy is on the line. Man, this isn't just another win in the record book. For Islam, it's about cementing himself as one of the greatest lightweights in the history of the sport, proving that everything he's built from Dagestan to the top of the UFC wasn't a fluke, that the discipline, the grappling mastery, the mental fortitude, it all matters. And every time he steps into the cage, it's a statement that the lightweight division isn't just a collection of fighters. It's a proving ground where he sets the standard, while on the other side, Arman Tsarukyan is chasing immortality, chasing the idea that one man's rise doesn't define the rest of the world, that you can come back from a loss, refine yourself, evolve into someone that the world didn't even see coming, and that beat Islam isn't just about belts or money. It's about shaking the MMA community to its core, making people reevaluate what they thought they knew about dominance, about the hierarchy in the division, and the narrative that's been written for years. And you can see it in the way Arman moves now, the way he carries himself. Like every fight he's had since that first loss has been a rehearsal, a lesson, a sharpening of his edge, so that when he steps back into that cage, it's not just a fighter against a fighter. It's history catching up with evolution. Two stories converging in one night, where one man is trying to solidify his reign and the other is trying to rewrite the story that he couldn't finish the first time. And you can feel the tension even in the interviews, in the press conferences, in the weigh-ins, the stare downs, because both of these men understand what's at stake, and it's palpable, like electricity hanging over the octagon, where one wrong move, one lapse in timing, one moment of hesitation can redefine a career. And that's what makes MMA so brutal and so beautiful, because it's unforgiving, but it rewards preparation and vision. And this fight, this rematch, it's a crucible. It's a test of will, skill, and heart. And it's about legacy in the purest sense, the kind that isn't measured in fans or likes or clicks. It's measured in respect, in the history books, in the whispers of the gym, and the echoes of every fight these men have ever had. And when they touch gloves, shake hands, or clash in that cage, it's not just a moment of action. It's a collision of everything they've worked for, every sacrifice, every failure, every victory, all condensed into 25 minutes or whatever it takes. And that's the fight we're all waiting to see. And at the end of the day, when the cage door shuts and the lights are blinding and the crowd is roaring, it all comes down to who's ready to impose their will, who's ready to execute everything they've learned, who's ready to live up to the hype and then some, because fights like this don't just test skill, they test heart, preparation, and the ability to stay calm under the most insane pressure imaginable. And whether Islam continues to dominate or Arman finally pulls off the impossible, we're all witnessing something historic, something that will be talked about for years in gyms, podcasts, and locker rooms around the world. And to both of these warriors stepping in there, man, good luck, respect, and thank you for giving the fans what they've been waiting for putting your bodies and souls on the line and showing us all what it truly means to fight for legacy, for redemption, and for the love of this sport. Because at the end of the day, that's what MMA is really about. Pushing limits, breaking barriers, and leaving everything in the cage, and we're lucky enough to watch it happen live.